Ever felt stuck? Battling that persistent self-doubt or just feeling plain overwhelmed by the sheer pace of modern life. That nagging inner voice may be whispering, I'm not good enough, or maybe that paralysis that comes from feeling like the future is just so uncertain. What if there was a perspective shift, maybe a change in how you approach your own thoughts that could genuinely, well, transform everything? Today, we're taking a deep dive into Dr. Norman Vincent Peale's enduring classic, The Power of Positive Thinking. Now, this book, it isn't just some relic of the past. Its ideas have resonated with millions, truly millions globally since it was published. We're talking over 15 million copies sold, translated into over 40 languages. It's genuinely helped countless individuals move from feeling, depressed, anxious, or hopeless back towards a life filled with peace and self-belief. What's really remarkable about Peale's work, I think, is that it's not merely a motivational pep talk. He presents a systematic approach, a practical, pretty accessible framework for thinking, speaking, believing, and acting that actively cultivates profound change.
And that's precisely our mission for you today. We're going to navigate this really rich material, chapter by chapter, actually, and we'll distill the most impactful nuggets of knowledge. Think of this as your shortcut, maybe, offering profound insights into the fundamental principles that Peale championed, giving you actionable takeaways and sparking those crucial aha moments. We're basically embarking on a journey to explore how meticulously shifting your inner world can dramatically reshape your outer reality, influencing everything from your core self-belief and emotional resilience to your relationships, your energy levels, and ultimately, your sense of purpose.
All right, let's unpack these ideas then. We're about to explore a system that has, quite literally, helped people find their way back to life. Our deep dive will reveal how Peale's principles, though sometimes they get simplified, actually offer a robust and practical path to personal transformation. We'll start right at the very core of his philosophy. Okay, so Dr. Peale begins by guiding us to look inward first. He emphasizes that our perception, how we see ourselves in the world, well, that lays the entire foundation for our experience. He kicks off with chapter 1, Believe in Yourself. The core idea here seems deceptively simple, yet it's something I think many of us wrestle with daily. The world around you, your opportunities, your outcomes, they often become a reflection of your deepest inner beliefs. Peale argues that a huge portion of failure, maybe even just the hesitation to attempt something new, stems from that pervasive self-doubt, those quiet whispers of, I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm just not lucky like others. He actually calls them silent killers.
Silent killers.
Because they sort of dismantle your potential before you even take the first step. So for someone who consistently battles that internal critic, that feeling of inadequacy, how does Peale suggest we begin to, turn the tide?
Well, Peale's insight here is that confidence isn't some external gift you just get. It's an internal construction, your internal narratives, right? The stories you constantly tell yourself about who you are, what you're capable of. They directly dictate your external actions, and in turn, they shape your results. So if your inner monologue is just dominated by negativity, your outward actions will inevitably be, hesitant, restricted, often self-sabotaging.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Think about the story of Sam from the book. He was this quiet student, just convinced he couldn't speak English as well as his peers. He thought he'd be ridiculed if he tried. So guess what? He never participated. He never practiced. This self-limiting belief just held him captive, really. Then a turning point came when a teacher told him, Sam, you are not less than anyone. You just think you are.
Wow. That's direct.
Yeah. And that simple statement, it just shifted his perspective. Sam then started this daily practice of positive self-talk, affirming things like, I can learn, I am not afraid, I will improve. Simple things. 6 months later, Sam stood on a stage, nervous, but resolute, delivering a speech in English. His hands might have trembled, but his heart was strong. Why? Because he had deliberately, systematically built that belief from within.
That's a really powerful testament, isn't it, to the power of consciously reshaping our inner dialogue. It's easy to see how that internal voice can be so profoundly limiting.
Absolutely. And Peale offers a very practical technique. He says, for 30 consecutive days, just look into a mirror each morning and articulate affirmations. Things like, I believe in myself, I'm capable, I can do difficult things. And this isn't just, wishful thinking. It actually aligns with foundational principles in cognitive psychology. When you consistently repeat these affirmations, you are literally beginning to rewire neural pathways in your brain. You're essentially paving new mental roads. This process strengthens the positive beliefs and weakens those ingrained self-sabotaging thought patterns over time. It makes it easier for your brain to access and reinforce self-efficacy.
Right, creating those new pathways. Okay, So once we start cultivating that foundational belief, Dr. Peale guides us to the next crucial step, cultivating a truly peaceful mind. Because, as he argues, a chaotic inner world can quickly undermine any newfound confidence. Let's explore that in what he calls Chapter 2. A peaceful mind means a powerful life. Peale draws a great analogy here. He says, think of your smartphone with just too many apps running in the background. It slows down, the battery drains really rapidly. Our minds, he says, operate similarly. A mind that's full of noise, anger, stress, jealousy, constant overthinking. These processes run continuously, consuming vital mental energy and clarity. They leave us depleted and less effective. And we've all experienced that mental noise, haven't we? That inner storm that just won't quiet down. How do we even begin to calm that chaos?
Yeah, it's about recognizing that these background mental processes, they aren't benign. They actively deplete our vital cognitive resources. They leave us mentally exhausted, unable to think clearly or act decisively. Peale explains that peace isn't the absence of all activity, but rather it's the harmonious and organized state within your mind.
Harmony. Okay.
He shares the example of Maria. She was a dedicated worker, but perpetually exhausted, angry, sad, constantly battling external pressures. One day, she started this simple ritual, sitting under a tree for just 10 minutes daily, practicing deep breathing. And the key was no phone, no noise, no expectations, just silence.
Just 10 minutes.
Just 10 minutes. And this seemingly small, consistent practice slowly but profoundly transformed her. She became calmer, she smiled more authentically, spoke with greater composure, and consequently, she earned increased respect from those around her. Her life didn't suddenly become problem-free, she just cultivated a peaceful mind. And that inner shift empowered her to navigate her external world differently.
So it's really about making a deliberate choice to disconnect from all that overwhelming external input, allowing space for some internal quiet.
Precisely. The action tip is to intentionally disconnect from the relentless chaos. This might mean taking a quiet walk, finding a serene spot to sit, maybe engaging in supportive self-talk like you would with a dear friend, or reading something genuinely peaceful before bed, and crucially, avoiding the news, gossip, or anything that just fuels drama.
Right, the stuff that ramps you up.
Exactly. The core message here is profound. Peace equals power. When your mind is peaceful, your capacity for impactful action and clear thought truly amplifies.
And building on that mental peace, we naturally move into addressing one of our most pervasive internal obstacles, fear. This brings us to Chapter 3. Stop being afraid of the future. Peale makes a really compelling case here that the fear of failure or potential problems is often far more debilitating and destructive than the actual problems themselves. We frequently get trapped in that cycle of, what if I lose money? What if people laugh at me? What if I fail? He challenges us to flip that script and ask instead, what if I succeed? So for Peale, is fear like a tangible obstacle we face? Or is it fundamentally something we construct within our own minds?
Peale firmly positions fear as largely an internal construct. He argues it often lives only in your imagination, and, more critically, it serves to paralyze your inherent potential. It's not really an external barrier to overcome, but an internal one that prevents forward movement. Courage, in this context, isn't the absence of fear. It's the conscious decision and the will to take action despite feeling afraid. Think of the young man from the book, the one who harbored this dream of opening his own cafe. He was utterly consumed by fear because he lacked experience. He expressed his anxieties to his grandfather, asking, "What if I fail?" His grandfather's response was simple but really profound. "Then you'll learn, and if you don't try, you'll only regret."
Good advice.
Inspired by this, the young man took a loan, launched his cafe. It struggled. It ultimately failed within 6 months.
Oh, wow.
But instead of letting this defeat define him, he embraced the lesson. He studied, he learned, refined his approach, and opened another. Today, he successfully owns 5 cafes. And Peale says this is a direct result of him stopping that paralyzing "what if I fail" internal monologue and instead starting to ask, "what if I fly?"
That's a powerful narrative about reframing perceived failure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seeing it as an essential part of the learning curve rather than some definitive end.
Exactly. The key takeaway here is a call to agency. Don't fear the future. Shape it with action. Your imagination, Peale reminds us, possesses this dual capacity. It can either trap you in a cage of fear or serve as an unstoppable launch pad for possibility.
This theme of internal creation extends beautifully into Chapter 4. Create your own happiness. Here, Peale introduces a fundamental shift in perspective. Happiness is an internal state, something we actively create, rather than an external destination we chase. So many of us fall into that trap, delaying happiness, telling ourselves, I'll be happy when I get that new job, or when I finally get married, or when I achieve a certain level of wealth.
The when trap.
Exactly. But when happiness is contingent on external conditions, it becomes a constantly moving target, perpetually just out of reach. Many of us instinctively link happiness to external events, though. How does Peale specifically reframe that common perception? And what's the hardest part about truly internalizing his approach?
Well, it's a deeply ingrained human tendency, isn't it? Peale argues that happiness derived from external conditions is inherently fleeting. It's dependent on variables outside our control. True, sustainable happiness, he posits, emanates from within. It's cultivated through conscious practices like gratitude, genuine connection with others, and altruism, giving back.
Okay.
The challenge, of course, is shifting that deeply embedded cultural belief that achievement or acquisition equals contentment. The book recounts the story of a successful businessman who, despite possessing everything, wealth, fame, a grand home, felt this profound inner emptiness. Material possessions brought no peace.
Right.
His transformation began when he started engaging in small, seemingly insignificant acts, dedicating Sundays to spending time with underprivileged children, making a nightly call to his mom, planting trees, consciously expressing gratitude more often. Slowly, genuinely, a smile returned to his face. He realized happiness is not in things, it's in moments, it's in giving, it's in connection, it's in gratitude.
Yeah. So it's about intentionally redirecting our focus from what we accumulate to what we appreciate and contribute.
Precisely. Peale's actionable advice here is simple yet profound. Choose to smile first. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are alive and capable of choice. Cease comparing your journey to others' highlight reels. Begin appreciating what you inherently possess. Find joy in the small, often overlooked moments. A quiet cup of tea, a child's hug, a peaceful moment of solitude. The powerful mantra here is, if you want to be happy, don't wait, create.
This idea of internal creation then leads directly into how our expectations can shape our reality. Peale addresses this in Chapter 5. Expect the best, and you'll get it. He presents the compelling concept that your mind operates like a magnet. What you consistently expect, you tend to attract into your experience. If your dominant expectation is that good things will happen, your mind actively seeks and draws those opportunities towards you. Conversely, if you consistently anticipate the worst, it often becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, not through magic, but through subtle shifts in perception and action. Okay, this sounds almost like a magical decree, though. Is this just wishful thinking on Peale's part, or is there a genuine psychological mechanism at play that he's tapping into here?
Oh, it's far more than mere wishful thinking. Peale is tapping into a genuine, well-documented psychological mechanism. It's often referred to as the reticular activating system, or RAS. Yeah, it's a network of neurons in your brainstem that acts as a filter for information. It makes you more acutely aware and receptive to what you focus on and what you expect. So, when you expect positive outcomes, your RAS filters for opportunities. It makes your brain more creative, your body more energetic, and your eyes literally start to perceive possibilities you might have otherwise completely missed.
Wow.
Conversely, if you expect negative outcomes, your RAS filters for threats and problems. This causes your brain to kind of shut down, your body to feel tired, your heart to become afraid, and it makes you less likely to notice or act on positive possibilities. The book provides a clear illustration with David the salesman. Initially, he started each day telling himself, "No one will buy today. People don't care." Unsurprisingly, he sold very little. One day, he decided to try something radically different. Before leaving home, he stood before the mirror and declared, "Today will be a great day. I will meet kind people. I will sell." Now, the change wasn't instant, but over time, his genuine smile, elevated energy, and palpable confidence grew. People began to listen, trust, and buy from him. In just 3 months, David became the top salesperson in his company. Peale's point is that the world didn't change. David's internal expectations did.
That truly clarifies how an internal shift in expectation can profoundly manifest in external, tangible results. It's about more than just optimism. It's about, like you said, cognitive activation.
Precisely. The action tip from this chapter is straightforward. Before any significant moment, a meeting, an interview, or presentation, just close your eyes for a few seconds and confidently affirm, "I expect the best, I am ready." Peale suggests that consistently doing this for even just 1 week can begin to fundamentally reorient your mindset towards success. #tag2. Managing external influences and inner demons.
Okay, so with our inner world as the foundation,
Peale then guides us on how to protect it, especially from the things that seek to undermine our peace and power. This brings us to Chapter 6. Stop feeding your mind with fear. Dr. Peale describes fear not just as an emotion, but as a poison, a corrosive force that systematically erodes your peace, weakens your physical body, and steals your capacity for impactful action. His core directive is to starve your fears and actively nourish your faith. He challenges us to meticulously examine our daily mental diet. If we're constantly consuming negative news, engaging in incessant complaints, or endlessly comparing ourselves on social media, we're unequivocally feeding fear. However, if we consciously choose to engage with uplifting books, seek out positive individuals, practice meditation or prayer, and dedicate time to reflective thought, we are, in turn, feeding peace and personal power.
Yeah, this aligns perfectly with the garbage in, garbage out principle, but applied to our minds. Peale emphasizes that intentional information consumption is absolutely paramount. Your mind functions much like a garden. What you deliberately plant and consistently water is what will inevitably grow.
Right.
The book shares the poignant story of Julia. She was plagued by panic attacks, living in this constant state of fear about her job, her health, her relationships. Her days were bookended by negativity, starting with distressing news, ending with gossip videos, creating this unrelenting mental storm. Her therapist prescribed a unique...
That's a powerful illustration of the transformative impact of a conscious mental diet. It shows how much agency we truly have over our emotional state.
Indeed. The key takeaway here is profoundly liberating. Fear only grows when it is watered. Therefore, stop watering it. Instead of instinctively asking, what if I fail? Reframe the question to, what if I grow? Do not allow fear to be the author of your life's narrative. Peale's powerful rephrasing is, feed your mind with courage, and fear will die of hunger.
Building on the idea of starving fear, Peale moves to one of its most common manifestations, worry. This brings us to Chapter 7, Break the Habit of Worrying. Dr. Peale offers a brilliant analogy for worry here, famously likening it to a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it takes you absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, I love that one.
It's great, isn't it? What's even more profound is his assertion that worrying isn't just an inescapable part of life, it's a learned habit. And like any habit, he insists it can be systematically unlearned and replaced with more constructive patterns. That's a fascinating reframe. The idea that worry isn't a fixed part of our personality, but a learned behavior we can actively dismantle feels incredibly empowering.
It truly is. Peale points out that worry often functions as a subconscious coping mechanism. Sometimes it even provides a false sense of control or preparedness. The real power, however, lies in recognizing it as a learned behavioral pattern rather than an intrinsic, unchangeable state. The book tells the story of Nick. He was a perpetual worrier, consumed by anxieties about losing his job, his wife leaving, falling ill, you name it. One day, he heard a speaker suggest a peculiar exercise. Write down all your worries on a piece of paper and then ceremonially burn it. Nick initially dismissed it as silly, but he was desperate, so he tried it. He diligently listed his fears, set the paper alight, and to his surprise, felt an immediate sense of lightness. He continued this practice weekly, and over time, his worries began to lose their grip. The act of externalizing and releasing them, rather than internalizing and holding on to them, significantly diminished their power.
That's such a simple yet profoundly symbolic act of letting go a way to physically externalize something that feels so overwhelming internally.
Exactly. Peale also offers a highly practical method for managing worry. Categorize your concerns. First, identify worries you can solve now, and then take immediate action to address them. Second, for worries you cannot solve immediately, schedule a specific, limited time to think about them. This prevents them from consuming your entire day.
Containment.
Right. And third, for worries that are truly silly or useless, those what-ifs that have no basis in reality, consciously choose to discard them, throw them out. The chapter's powerful summation serves as a constant reminder. Worry doesn't take away tomorrow's pain. It only takes away today's peace.
From breaking the habit of worry, we delve into a chapter that offers a different kind of strength, one beyond our immediate control. This is Chapter 8, Trust the Power That's Greater Than You. Peale introduces a deeply spiritual yet broadly applicable concept here, the profound benefits of trusting a power bigger than yourself. Whether you conceive of it as God, the universe, or simply an underlying force of faith, he posits that by trusting this greater power, you cultivate feelings of safety, inherent strength, and profound protection. Conversely, he argues that the relentless pursuit of controlling absolutely every aspect of your life inevitably leads to exhaustion, crippling fear, and a deep sense of weakness. This raises an important question for many of us, though. How do we genuinely surrender control in a world that so often demands we be the architects of our own destiny, the masters of every detail?
It's definitely a tension that many people grapple with. Peale addresses it not as an abdication of responsibility, but as a strategic reduction of anxiety. By externalizing burdens we were never truly meant to carry alone. The act of surrender in this context isn't about giving up. It's about unlocking a deeper well of inner peace and resourcefulness. It's acknowledging that certain forces and outcomes are beyond our immediate individual control and that these greater forces can, in fact, support us.
Okay.
He uses a beautiful, relatable analogy. A child walking confidently with their parent's hand in a bustling city doesn't fear cars or strangers or falling because they feel secure in that trust. That's the feeling Peale encourages us to cultivate,
That's a lovely image.
isn't it? The book shares the story of a businessman whose enterprise failed completely, leaving him with nothing. He desperately tried every conceivable solution: loans, new investors, radical business plans, but nothing worked. One day, in a moment of utter defeat and complete silence, he finally declared, "I've done all I can. Now I let go. I trust." Remarkably, in the very next week, a friend called him with an unexpected business opportunity. Peale emphasizes this wasn't magic or pure luck. It was faith and peace after total surrender that opened him to a possibility he couldn't have forced.
And it's a compelling point. The true peace and clarity can emerge precisely when we release our rigid grip, allowing us to perceive opportunities previously obscured by our need for absolute control.
Exactly. The action tip from this chapter is a simple nightly ritual. Before you fall asleep, whisper, "I am not alone. I trust the path. I release my fear." Peale suggests that this quiet, consistent practice can significantly improve your sleep and bolster your inner strength, reassuring you that you don't have to bear every burden in isolation.
Following that exploration of faith, we turn to something incredibly tangible: our daily vitality. This is Chapter 9, How to Have Constant Energy. It addresses a really common modern complaint: persistent tiredness. Dr. Peale posits that this isn't always rooted in physical weakness. Quite often, it's a profound exhaustion of the mind. He reveals a powerful secret. Energy isn't solely derived from diet or sleep. It flows profoundly from your thoughts. Negative thoughts, he argues, drain you of your vital life force, while positive, purposeful thoughts actively generate energy, resilience, and joy. If we connect this to the broader picture of this deep dive, it suggests that our daily mental outlook literally serves as the power source for our lives. It's a direct connection, not just a metaphor.
It's an undeniable psychosomatic connection. The interaction between mind and body is profound. Peale asserts that your mindset directly impacts your physical vitality, endurance, and overall resilience. The book illustrates this by comparing two individuals. Person A awakens with a sigh, thinking, "Oh no, another hard day. I'm tired already." Person B greets the day with resolve, affirming, "Today is a gift. I will give it my best."
Big difference.
Huge difference. Both may share the same job, same physical condition, but by mid-morning, one feels drained and the other vibrant, purely due to their differing mindsets. Another compelling example is Emily, the nurse, working demanding 12-hour shifts. Despite being on her feet all day, caring for patients, assisting doctors, her colleagues frequently asked, "Emily, how do you always seem so full of energy?"
Yeah, how does she do it?
Her consistent reply was simple: "I don't focus on how tired I am. I focus on why I do this." Her energy wasn't primarily fueled by caffeine. It was drawn from her clear sense of purpose, her dedication to helping others. Even when she experienced physical pain in her legs, she maintained a smile, because her mind, driven by purpose, proved stronger than her body's weariness.
That story really highlights how a deep sense of purpose can truly be an infinite energy source, transcending physical limitations.
It absolutely does. The action tip from this chapter is to proactively program your mind. Begin your day with powerful affirmations such as, "I am strong, I am ready, I have a reason to live today." And when you feel your energy flagging, or moments of profound lethargy, Peale advises to stand up, breathe deeply, and declare aloud with force, "I have all the energy I need, I am bigger than this moment." This physical and mental act, he suggests, can trigger a significant internal shift.
Building on that spiritual strength, our next chapter focuses on a specific practice. Chapter 10, Try Prayer Power. Dr. Peale makes it very clear that this isn't about rigid religious adherence or specific doctrine. Instead, he presents prayer as a direct conduit to spiritual energy, a belief that you are fundamentally not alone, and that when your personal strength reaches its limit, a greater supportive power is accessible. This connection, he explains, comes through simple, heartfelt prayer. It's not about finding perfect words or elaborate rituals. It's about speaking from your soul, even if it's just a whispered, raw, please help me in your moment of deepest despair.
Exactly. And what's particularly resonant here is Peele's emphasis on authenticity and genuine connection over formal ritual. It sounds like he's advocating for a very personal, unvarnished form of communication. This practice, stripped of dogma, fosters a profound sense of companionship. It offers solace, peace, and often surprising clarity, even in the direst circumstances. The book illustrates this with the example of a businessman who faced total collapse, losing his company, his financial stability, his marriage. He had exhausted every conventional avenue, therapy, coaching, medication, yet found no lasting relief. One night, consumed by profound hopelessness, he uttered a raw, heartfelt cry, "God, if you're there, I need help." In that moment of complete surrender, he wept for the first time in years. This wasn't a magical solution, but it ushered in a profound sense of peace and renewed inner strength. He ceased his solo battle against every problem and began a daily practice of 10 minutes of quiet, meditative prayer each morning. Slowly, gradually, his path began to clarify.
That story really underscores the idea of finding profound strength and a renewed perspective through vulnerability and connection to something larger than oneself.
It shows that prayer, in Peele's view, is not solely about asking. It's primarily about connecting to a source of peace and resilience. You don't need to be religious, you merely need to be honest and speak from your deepest self. The action tip for integrating this into your life is wonderfully simple. Every night before sleeping, whisper 3 things. Thank you for today, forgive me for my mistakes, and guide me tomorrow. This quiet, consistent habit, Peele suggests, can fortify your heart, providing strength even through the darkest passages.
As we continue this deep dive, we observe how Peele's principles naturally extend beyond our individual mindset, influencing our interactions with others and even our physical well-being. This brings us to Chapter 11. Stop holding grudges. This chapter delivers a truly liberating perspective. When you hold anger, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Oof, that's powerful.
Isn't it? Peele's central life-changing message is that forgiveness isn't primarily about absolving the other person. It is fundamentally about freeing yourself. He acknowledges that many people carry deep, unhealed wounds from the past, a friend's betrayal, a partner's infidelity, a family member's cutting remark, and they vehemently vow, "I'll never forgive." But Peele powerfully argues that this refusal to forgive only serves to keep the wound perpetually open, festering within you. Forgiveness, therefore, becomes the act of closing that wound, not for their sake, but for the sake of your own enduring peace.
This point is absolutely crucial for genuine mental and emotional liberation. The psychological and physiological burden of prolonged resentment is immense. It consumes vast reservoirs of mental and emotional energy, actively preventing forward movement, clear thought, and inner tranquility. The book shares the story of a man who, after a deep insult, refused to speak to his brother for 12 excruciating years. The pain, rather than diminishing, only intensified with each passing year.
12 years is a long time.
A very long time. One day, he encountered Peele's profound statement. Forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. This resonated so deeply that it moved him to tears. He called his brother, and in a cathartic conversation, both men cried and began the process of healing. Peele highlights that this man didn't lose his pride, he gained his peace, a far more valuable commodity.
That's a powerful illustration of the profound transformation that can occur when one chooses liberation over bitterness.
It truly underscores that forgiveness, far from being a sign of weakness, is a profound act of power. It demands greater inner strength than clinging to animosity. Forgiving someone doesn't imply condoning their actions or forgetting the hurt. It means you consciously choose to prioritize your own peace. The action tip is simple yet impactful. Close your eyes, bring to mind the name of someone who has caused you pain, and then silently whisper, "I forgive you, I release this pain, I choose peace." Peele clarifies that you don't need to communicate this directly to them. The essential act is to free your own soul from the burden.
Moving from emotional burdens, we look at the pace of our daily lives. This leads us to Chapter 12. Live a controlled and relaxed life. In our hyper-connected, relentlessly driven modern world, we often find ourselves in a perpetual state of haste, rushing to wake up, rushing through work, eating quickly, frequently falling asleep, burdened by worry. Dr. Peale directly challenges this frantic pace, asserting that a calm, unhurried life isn't a stagnant or boring one. Rather, it's a smart, successful, and genuinely happy life. He powerfully argues that incessant rushing doesn't bring success. Instead, it is focused, intentional and relaxed action that truly yields significant achievements.
Yeah.
How does one possibly find this balance, though? In our always on, always running, always competing modern world, where the pressure to be constantly productive and available feels overwhelming.
It's undoubtedly one of the most significant challenges of contemporary life, but Peale offers a clear blueprint. He starkly contrasts frantic, unfocused activity with intentional, relaxed living. His central tenet is that the quality of your effort almost always outweighs the sheer quantity of tasks you frantically attempt to complete.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly. The book provides the example of Daniel, a highly successful CEO who was caught in this relentless cycle of rushing, endless meetings, constant phone calls, a barrage of emails, which eventually led to significant health issues. His doctor issued a stark warning: slow down. Daniel then made deliberate, transformative changes. He started waking up 30 minutes earlier, not to work, but to savor breakfast with his daughter. He implemented a strict no phone after 8 p.m. rule. He began taking daily walks in the park, intentionally leaving his phone behind, simply to immerse himself in the sounds of nature. As a result, his work became characterized by greater focus and significantly less panic. After just 6 months, Daniel reported being not only healthier and happier, but, paradoxically, even more productive than before. Peale's conclusion: he didn't do less, he did things better.
That's a crucial distinction. It's not about reducing ambition or slacking off, but about adopting a smarter, more deliberate, and ultimately more effective approach to life.
Precisely. Peale's actionable tips for cultivating a more controlled life include establishing a morning routine that is calm, not rushed, consciously practicing eating, talking, and breathing slowly, and crucially, learning the power of saying no to unnecessary commitments to safeguard your inner peace. The chapter's powerful reminder crystallizes this idea: relaxed is not weak, controlled is not boring, it is strength in silence.
This principle of inner control leads seamlessly into how we navigate external pressures. Our next chapter is Chapter 13, How to Stay Calm in Every Situation. Life, as Dr. Peale soberly acknowledges, is inherently unpredictable. Adversity will inevitably arise, people will disappoint us, carefully laid plans will unravel. But the profound truth he offers is this: while you cannot control every external event, you can absolutely control your internal response to it. He argues that maintaining calmness in the midst of a crisis is not a sign of indifference, but a profound indicator of inner strength, which in turn fosters clear thinking and enables wise, effective action. What's particularly insightful here is the distinction Peale draws between merely reacting to situations versus thoughtfully responding, a subtle but profoundly different approach to life's inevitable curveballs.
It is a critical distinction that can alter the entire trajectory of a challenging situation. Our primal fight-or-flight response often takes over during a crisis, leading to impulsive, less effective actions. However, Peale suggests that with trained calmness, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for complex thought, logical reasoning, problem-solving, remains active.
Okay, keeps the thinking part online.
Exactly. This allows for a measured, thoughtful response rather than an instinctive, often counterproductive reaction. The book vividly illustrates this with the gripping story of a young pilot whose engine failed midair. Passengers began screaming. The flight crew succumbed to panic.
Terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. But the pilot, despite the immense danger, remained calm. He internally reminded himself, panic won't save anyone. My calmness is their survival. He systematically followed every protocol, communicated clearly with air traffic control, and miraculously landed the plane safely. When reporters later asked if he wasn't terrified, he responded with a calm smile. Yes, but fear doesn't fix a crisis. Clarity does.
That's such a powerful example of leadership and self-mastery under the most extreme pressure. It shows calmness as an active tool, not just passivity.
It absolutely demonstrates that calmness is not an absence of feeling, but an immense display of inner strength and cultivated discipline. The action tip from this chapter is simple yet immensely effective. When you feel anger or overwhelm rising, pause for 10 full seconds before speaking or acting. Breathe deeply and then consciously ask yourself, what's the wisest thing I can do right now? Peale suggests this brief pause, this moment of intentional reflection, has the power to fundamentally alter the outcome of your interactions and decisions. Following our discussion on maintaining inner peace, we delve into a deeply impactful area: our physical well-being. This is Chapter 14, Believe in Healing Power. This chapter is particularly profound as Peale asserts that your mind possesses an inherent power to influence and even heal your body. He claims that numerous diseases, chronic pains, even long-term health challenges can show significant improvement when you consciously fill your mind with positive, peaceful, healing thoughts, coupled with unwavering belief and hope. He even goes so far as to state that scientific research consistently supports this profound connection between the mind and the body.
Yeah.
So, for someone confronting a serious health challenge, what does Peale's approach genuinely mean? Is it about ignoring conventional medicine, or is it a deeper, complementary strategy?
That's a crucial point. Peale is absolutely not advocating for ignoring conventional medical science. Definitely not. Instead, he's advocating for harnessing the incredible documented power of the mind-body connection to actively support the healing process, to bolster the immune system and foster profound resilience. He's suggesting that our mental state isn't just a passive bystander in our health, it's an active participant. The book provides two incredibly compelling examples. The first is Susan, a woman diagnosed with an aggressive cancer and given only a year to live.
Wow.
Instead of succumbing to despair, she chose hope. Every morning, she listened to calming music, looked into her mirror, and affirmed with deep conviction, "My body is healing, my cells are strong, I will live." Beyond that, she started actively helping other patients in the hospital, reading to children, feeding the elderly, deliberately filling her mind with kindness and strength. A year later, her doctors were astonished. Her report showed remarkable improvement. Her cancer began to recede. Peale suggests this wasn't solely the result of medical intervention, but also the power of hope, faith, and inner strength working synergistically.
That's an astonishing narrative of internal fortitude where her mental resolve clearly played a significant role in her physical recovery.
It certainly is. The second example is a young boy who suffered a severe spinal injury in a car accident. Doctors delivered the devastating news that he would never walk again. He vehemently refused to accept this prognosis. Day after day, he vividly imagined himself walking, running, dancing. For 2 grueling years, he rigorously trained his physical body, but more importantly, he relentlessly trained his mind.
Incredible focus.
Incredible. Today, not only does he walk with unwavering pride, but he actively competes in marathons. The action tip from this chapter is deeply personal. Every morning and night, close your eyes and genuinely affirm, "My body is healing, I am getting stronger, I am filled with life." Peale emphasizes that you must say it with profound love and conviction because, as he reminds us, your cells are listening.
Our final chapter in this section focuses on how our inner state radiates outward into our most vital connections. This is chapter 15. Build strong personal relationships. Dr. Peale firmly asserts that no one truly succeeds in isolation. As human beings, we possess an innate and profound need for connection, love, support, and understanding. The chapter articulates that robust relationships are the bedrock upon which a truly strong life is built. Conversely, he observes that many contemporary relationships are fragile, often plagued by ego battles, simmering anger, chronic miscommunication, or just a fundamental lack of dedicated quality time.
And this chapter speaks to that fundamental human need for belonging and connection. Peale argues that healthy, nurturing relationships are not merely pleasant additions to life. They are a foundational cornerstone of overall well-being. They provide an essential network of support, meaning, and shared experience. The book offers a beautiful, poignant example of a couple married for 15 years who had, over time, stopped truly communicating, laughing, or connecting on an intimate level.
Happens easily.
It does. The husband, inspired by Peale's principles, decided to initiate a single, small change. Every morning before leaving for work, he would gently kiss his wife's hand and simply say, "Thank you for being with me." Initially, she didn't respond, but he persisted with unwavering kindness and patience. After 3 weeks, she offered a small smile. After 2 months, they began to genuinely converse again. And after 6 months, their revived connection led them to joyfully renew their vows. Peale notes their marriage wasn't rescued by grand gestures or expensive therapy, but by consistent kindness and patient appreciation.
That's a truly moving example of how consistent, small acts of love and genuine appreciation can deeply transform the fabric of a relationship.
It absolutely is. Another powerful example is a father who had habitually spoken unkindly to his children. One day, his young son looked up at him and innocently asked, "Dad, why don't you smile when you see me?"
Ouch. Right to the heart.
Yeah, that direct, simple question profoundly impacted the father, breaking his heart. From that day forward, he committed to spending just 15 minutes daily playing and talking with his children, and over time, their bond became unbreakable. The action tip here is profoundly human. Make a conscious effort to say thank you and I love you more often to your family and friends. Practice quick forgiveness, speak gently, listen with genuine love. Reach out to one person daily with a message or call just to express your appreciation. Embrace more hugs, practice less judgment. Crucially, make time for these connections rather than finding excuses. Peale reminds us that true success is hollow if you have no one with whom to authentically share your life. Hashtag 40 feet, perseverance, purpose, and love.
As we move towards the culmination of this deep dive, we shift from managing ourselves and our immediate circles to the broader canvas of our purpose and resilience in the face of life's bigger challenges. We start with Chapter 16. Make the power of faith work for you. Dr. Peale considers this chapter the very heart of his book. He clarifies that faith isn't merely a passive belief. It's an active force, a profound act of trust, and a source of strength that transcends your individual capabilities. Faith, he says, is the inner resolve that sustains you when your path is shrouded in darkness, enabling you to take deliberate steps, even when the final destination remains unseen. When you truly believe your life holds intrinsic purpose, that positive outcomes are genuinely possible, and that you are never truly alone in your struggles, Peale asserts that miracles begin to happen.
And what's particularly compelling here is the clear distinction Peale draws between mere hope and active faith. Hope often feels like a wish, whereas faith, as he describes it, is presented as a dynamic, driving force. That's a crucial differentiation. Hope, in Peale's framework, can be somewhat passive. Faith, conversely, is profoundly active. Faith provides the unwavering mental fortitude necessary to persevere through periods of profound uncertainty. It unlocks opportunities that might appear as luck, but are often the direct consequence of consistent, purposeful action fueled by an unshakable belief. The book shares the powerful story of a man who found himself unemployed for 6 arduous months. His savings were depleted, his wife was pregnant, he teetered on the brink of despair.
A tough spot.
A very tough spot. Yet every morning he donned his worn suit, grabbed his empty folder, and affirmed, "I don't know who will hire me, but I believe someone will." One day, while waiting at a bus stop, he spontaneously offered to help an elderly gentleman carry his heavy groceries. That man turned out to be the CEO of a prominent company. They conversed. The CEO was deeply impressed by his honesty and resilience and offered him a significantly better job than he had previously lost. Peale emphasizes that faith brought that moment, not luck.
That's a truly illuminating example of how cultivating a state of positive expectation, fueled by active faith, can genuinely open you up to serendipitous, unexpected opportunities.
It absolutely is. Another inspiring example is that of a young woman with no financial means to attend a foreign university. Everyone around her deemed it an impossible dream, yet she harbored an unwavering faith. She applied for 30 scholarships, meticulously wrote countless emails, prayed fervently, and maintained her belief. On her 31st application, she received a full scholarship and is now a respected university professor. Peale's action tip for cultivating daily faith is this. Every morning declare, "I don't know how, but I believe it will happen." Then act with courage, understanding that even small steps taken with faith can move immense obstacles. And conclude each day with, "I did my best and the rest is in bigger hands."
Building on that strength of faith, Peale then addresses a common external pressure that often compromises our authenticity. People-pleasing. This is Chapter 17. Stop trying to please everyone. This chapter opens with a profound and a liberating truth. You cannot lead a truly happy and fulfilling life if your primary goal is to constantly make everyone else happy. Dr. Peale astutely observes that many individuals experience chronic exhaustion, not primarily from excessive effort, but from consistently expending too much energy trying to please others and far too little nurturing their own well-being. They find themselves saying yes when their deepest desire is to say no, agreeing to circumstances that diminish their peace, and suppressing their authentic feelings merely to avoid conflict or disapproval.
Yeah, this chapter powerfully highlights the immense mental and emotional exhaustion inherent in people-pleasing behavior, and it underscores the critical importance of establishing healthy boundaries and cultivating profound self-respect. The book introduces Clara, the quintessential nice one. She routinely remained silent when her friends took advantage of her generosity, acquiesced to a marriage she didn't desire, endured a job that made her utterly miserable, all in an effort to appease her parents' expectations.
Oh, Clara.
Yeah. One day, she reached her breaking point. She looked into the mirror and confronted herself with a heartbreaking question. Why does everyone love me, but I don't love myself? That pivotal night, she penned a letter to herself. "Dear Clara, I'm so sorry. From now on, I will protect you." She then embarked on a series of bold, life-altering changes. She declined the unwanted marriage, resigned from her soul-crushing job, and applied to study music, which had been her cherished childhood dream. While her decision shocked and even angered some around her, for the very first time in her life, Clara experienced genuine freedom.
That's an incredibly powerful story of reclaiming one's own narrative and identity, making a courageous choice for self-preservation and authenticity.
It truly is. Peele's chapter teaches us a vital lesson. You are not obligated to justify your life choices to everyone. People-pleasing, he argues, often means a betrayal of your authentic self. The action tip is simple yet transformative. Every time you feel the internal pressure to acquiesce or please others, pause and ask yourself, if I say yes to them, am I implicitly saying no to myself? If your honest answer is yes, Peele urges you to choose yourself.
From setting boundaries, we move to the most expansive and profound of human emotions. This is chapter 18. Fill your life with love. This chapter, while gently expressed, is incredibly powerful, asserting that success, regardless of its magnitude, is fundamentally hollow without love. Dr. Peale posits that a truly rich life isn't measured by accumulated wealth, it is overflowing with love. He expands the definition of love far beyond mere romantic affection, encompassing how we genuinely treat others, the kindness we extend to strangers, our capacity for forgiveness, our willingness to help, the warmth of our smile, the depth of our listening. It is, he says, a conscious, deliberate decision to embody kindness, even when the world around us feels cold or indifferent.
And this raises an important question. In a world that so often prioritizes achievement, financial success, external validation, are we as a society perhaps overlooking the ultimate and most profound measure of a truly rich and meaningful life?
That's a good question.
It's a profoundly poignant question, and Peele's answer is an unequivocal yes. This chapter beautifully connects love to fundamental human virtues like empathy, compassion, and the inherent undeniable interconnectedness of all humanity. He emphasizes that acts of kindness, no matter how seemingly insignificant, possess powerful ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate perception. The book shares a deeply moving story of a young boy with Down syndrome who is frequently ignored and isolated by his classmates. Yet one girl consistently made an effort. She sat with him during lunch, shared her food, offered a genuine smile, always asking about his day. She considered her actions to be minor, almost unremarkable. 10 years later, she received a message from him. It read, "Your love saved me. There were times I wanted to die, but you made me feel seen. Your small love made a big impact."
Wow. That story truly brings tears to your eyes. It's a beautiful and humbling illustration of the profound, life-altering power of simple human kindness and acceptance.
It vividly highlights that you never diminish yourself by loving. Even when the world feels cold and unfeeling, your warmth and compassion profoundly matter. Peele's action tips are deeply human and accessible. Consciously say, "I love you," more often to your family and friends. Seek opportunities to help someone without any expectation of reciprocity. And make it a daily practice to offer a genuine compliment or kind word to a stranger. His powerful concluding thought resonates deeply. At the end of life, people don't remember your money, they remember your love.
Our second to last chapter speaks directly to the moment many of us consider throwing in the towel. This is chapter 19. Don't give up. You're closer than you think. This chapter is a direct appeal to anyone standing at the precipice of quitting, anyone feeling utterly exhausted or harboring the thought, perhaps this dream simply isn't meant for me. Dr. Peele's unwavering truth is that you are, in fact, often far closer to success than you realize. He argues that a multitude of people abandon their endeavors one step before success simply because their current exhaustion screams louder than their original compelling purpose. He wisely reframes struggles and setbacks, not as definitive failures, but as invaluable signs of genuine progress, essential components of growth.
Yeah, this chapter taps into the profound psychology of perseverance. It acknowledges the notorious valley of despair that frequently precedes a major breakthrough. Peele stresses that reframing challenges as crucial opportunities for learning and growth is absolutely vital for maintaining resolve and staying the course. The book offers the classic parable of the gold miner who toiled tirelessly for 5 years, digging day in and day out, yet found nothing. Convinced of its futility, he eventually gave up, declaring it's useless, and sold his land. The very next individual who acquired that same plot of land continued digging for just 3 feet deeper and struck gold.
That's an almost heartbreakingly stark example of the critical importance of endurance and the tragic consequence of giving up just a little too soon.
It truly highlights that often perseverance is the missing ingredient for success. Another powerful narrative is that of J.K. Rowling. She submitted her inaugural Harry Potter manuscript to 22 different publishers, every single one of whom rejected her.
22 rejections, wow.
Yeah. She confided in her best friend, expressing her profound despair and contemplating giving up entirely. Her friend's encouragement was pivotal. Don't let rejection kill your gift. Just one yes will change everything. Inspired, Rowling sent it to one more publisher, the 23rd, and they said yes. That book, of course, became a global literary phenomenon. Peele's core teaching in this chapter is that you don't require 100 people to believe in you. You only need one, and that one person should unequivocally be yourself. If the journey is arduous, it signifies its inherent worth. The action tips to foster this unwavering resilience are: when you feel the urge to quit, pause and ask yourself, why did I start this in the first place? Envision your future self, who will look back with profound gratitude that you didn't surrender, and consciously affirm daily, I've come too far to stop now, I'm not finished. Okay. The chapter's powerful closing declaration is, you were not born to give up. You were born to rise again and again.
Finally, we reach chapter 20. Live your life with power and purpose. Peale describes this as a direct message to your soul. He unequivocally states that you are not an accidental occurrence. You were inherently crafted for something larger, something significant. He keenly observes that many individuals merely exist. They wake, work, eat, sleep, and label it living. But deep within, they feel a profound emptiness because they aren't actively engaging with a sense of purpose. This chapter is Peele's guide to igniting that inner fire in your heart.
Mm-hmm. And if we connect this to the overarching journey of this entire deep dive, it feels like it's about shifting from merely existing to genuinely living, doesn't it? From a reactive existence to a proactive one, driven by an authentic inner conviction.
Exactly.
Absolutely. This chapter is Peele's invitation to discover what some cultures call ikigai, your reason for being or finding your unique calling. Purpose, in Peele's view, provides an intrinsic motivation and an incredible wellspring of resilience, allowing you to navigate challenges with an unwavering internal compass. The book offers two profoundly inspiring examples. First, a man working in a call center felt an overwhelming sense of emptiness, repeating the same scripts day after day. He began to question, is this truly why I was born? He started volunteering his weekends, helping underprivileged students learn English. In this service, he felt something light up inside him.
Found that spark.
Fueled by this newfound purpose, he eventually left his job, opened a small school, and because his purpose infused him with power, it flourished, now serving 2,000 students.
That's a beautiful testament to finding your authentic path by actively following that inner spark, even when it means a radical shift.
It truly is. The second example is a hospital cleaner. Many people overlooked her, yet she made it her daily practice to smile genuinely at every patient, sing softly as she cleaned, and offer silent prayers for the sick. When she retired, the hospital staff surprised her with a video where countless individuals expressed their heartfelt gratitude, saying, "You weren't just cleaning, you were healing."
Wow.
This illustrates that even the most seemingly humble job becomes immensely powerful when imbued with love and a conscious sense of purpose. Peele's action tips for living with power and purpose are: ask yourself daily, what can I do today that will genuinely matter tomorrow? Engage in activities that make you feel truly proud even if no one else is watching. And crucially, don't chase a superficial, perfect life. Instead, pursue a deeply meaningful one. The chapter's resonant closing statement is, you are not small, you are not late, you are just beginning. Hashtag outro.
So after this comprehensive deep dive into Dr. Norman Vincent Peale's The Power of Positive Thinking, what does this all mean for you? Peale didn't offer a magic wand or, mystical solutions. What he provided was an incredibly powerful systematic mindset. He held up a mirror, not merely to show us what we've been thinking, but more significantly, to reveal what we are truly capable of becoming. It's not about innate genius or arbitrary luck. It's about a profound, genuine belief that your thoughts possess the capacity to shape your life, because they absolutely can, and indeed they already are.
Yeah. And to powerfully reinforce that core identity transformation, always remember this. You are not defined by your past. You are not condemned by your mistakes. You are not limited by your doubts. You are inherently powerful. You are profoundly capable. You are deeply loved. And you are still, right now, in the process of becoming everything you were truly born to be.
So, starting today, maybe choose to speak kindly to yourself. Choose to think boldly. Dare to dream again. Love deeply and generously. And believe with every fiber of your being that something beautiful is unequivocally on its way for you. Because with this mindset, it truly is.
And remember, the power of positive thinking is not some external force you must acquire. It resides already within you. It's an inherent dynamic capacity that is constantly at work, actively shaping your reality with every single thought you entertain. The truly crucial question isn't whether this power works, but rather, what kind of reality are you consciously and actively building with it right now?
Thank you for joining us on the Deep Dive and for sharing your valuable time and attention with us today. We genuinely hope these insights inspire you to unlock and harness the incredible power that resides within you.